Hi, everyone. Welcome to this co-production between WION and the Voice of America, live from New York City. I'm your host, Susan Tehrani. Let's start off with the latest trial of former President Donald Trump. The candidate now says that he will appeal last week's felony conviction for falsifying business records ahead of his 2016 election. VOA correspondent Scott Stearns looks at the former president's prospects for appeal and whether those convictions might be overturned before Election Day.
Donald Trump says he was wronged in a New York courtroom last week by a judge who's given him ample grounds for appeal.
So we're going to be appealing this scam. We're going to be appealing it on many different things. He wouldn't allow us to have witnesses. He wouldn't allow us to talk. He wouldn't allow us to do anything. The judge was a tyrant.
Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide payments used to illegally influence his 2016 election. Trump says the trial was rigged by backers of President Joe Biden. Biden says Trump's convictions reaffirm that no one is above the law.
Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
On appeal, Trump attorneys may start with whether the statute used to prosecute him was overly vague, says Georgetown law professor Abby Smith.
The statute itself so broad or ambiguous that it could cast a net too widely, and people caught up in that net wouldn't know exactly what it was they were facing, wouldn't understand what the law proscribes and what the law allows, given the wording of the statutes.
Smith says Trump's attorneys might then look at whether the trial judge allowed in evidence that he should not have, or prevented evidence from coming in for the defense that he should have allowed.
When we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things. But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted.
Trump may also appeal on the grounds of ineffective counsel.
And there, I think, perhaps defense counsel's failure to object to the testimony by Stormy Daniels suggesting that the sexual encounter between her and Mr. Trump was anything other than consensual might be fertile grounds for an appeal challenging the effectiveness of counsel.
Whatever their strategies, Trump and his attorneys are unlikely to make the appeal before his July 11 sentencing, says John Jay College of Criminal Justice professor David Shapiro.
He will likely await sentencing. That way he has, and his attorneys have, a full perspective on what exposure he faces, rather than doing it piecemeal, which, among other things, burn up Mr. Trump's financial resources and doesn't really provide a material advantage to his case.
The appeal is unlikely to be ruled on before Election Day, says Smith.
This is not a quick process. I don't see, even if the appellate division regards this case as special and urgent because of the presidential election, I still don't see that happening before November.
If his convictions are not overturned by Election Day, Trump will be the first felon to stand for president on a major U.S. party ticket. Scott Stearns, VOA News.
You know, you can't even see the back. There's so many people here.
All right, joining us now with additional reporting is VOA correspondent Jessica Stone. She's live for us from the White House. Hi, Jessica. There seems to be some developments in another criminal case against the former president, the Georgia election interference case. Can you tell us the latest about that?
Yeah, so the appeals court has actually paused this case. This is the Georgia election interference case, one of 4 criminal cases against the former U.S. president. The court wants to review the lower court decision, which basically said that the district attorney, Fani Willis, could continue prosecuting the case. If you recall, Fani Willis was the lead prosecutor against Trump in that case, and she was accused of improperly benefiting from a romantic relationship with another attorney on the team. and there was a move to disqualify her. Well, now that move and that ruling that did not disqualify her is being reviewed by the appeals court. They will have until March 2025, so they're giving themselves plenty of time to look into it. And this pause makes it very unlikely, of course, that there will be a decision in this case ahead of November's election. Back to you.
And Jessica, this week, President Biden's son Hunter has been in trial in court on charges of illegally purchasing a handgun while addicted to drugs. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the jurors heard from the gun store clerk who sold him the pistol, or rather the revolver, this past week. He told the jury that he watched Hunter Biden fill out a form that all gun purchasers are supposed to fill out, which asks them if they are legally able to purchase that firearm. And he answered no when he was asked whether he was a, quote, unlawful user or addicted to drugs. Now, Hunter Biden faces 3 felony charges around illegal possession of a gun, and he has pleaded not guilty to each one of those. His attorney says he answered no to the question because it was in the present tense and he did not believe himself to be an active drug addict. But Hunter Biden has a long history of drug use and is in rehabilitation for that now. Biden says he's being unfairly targeted because of his last name, and President Joe Biden said in an interview Thursday that he will accept the outcome of the trial and that he will not use the power of the presidency to pardon Hunter Biden if he is convicted. Susan?
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.